Ensure accurate financial reporting, effective internal controls, and reliable audit procedures. Leveraging robotic processing automation is a conjunction with the framework can significantly enhance audit efficiency, accuracy, and compliance. RPA developers and authors should evaluate and collaborate with align RPA workflows and relevant standard of guidelines, ultimately improving efficiency of audit and enhancing the client assurance and given below. Columnar presentation of India 16 and property, plant, equipment with IFCO, NFO, and audit procedures. Paragraph accounting policy, relevant data to be captured, relevant calculation to be made, presentation in financial report statement, IFCO, FO, auditing procedure to be standardized on auditing. So, audit para 6 definition PPE as intangible assets that held in use of production and supplies of goods and services and retail or other for an administration purpose and are to be exposed to be used during more than one period. Relevant data to be captured, identify the PPE items and their cost components, relevant calculation to be applied, the recognized criteria, measurement and principles. Presentation financial statement disclose the PPE items and their carrying amount, depreciation methods and rates and useful life and impairment and loss and EFCO for establishing internal control over the identification, recognition, measurement, or depreciation, impairment, and disclosure of PPE. Audit procedure and staff standard of auditing. Verify the existence, ownership, verify the valuation and disclosure of PPE by inspection, confirmation, vouching, analysis procedure, analytical procedure, etc. Para 7. Accounting policy. Recognition of items of PPE as an asset if it's probable that future economic benefit associated with that item will flow to the entity and cost of the item can be measured reliably. Then, what should be done for relevant data to be captured? Assess the probability and reliability of future economic benefits and cost of PPE items. Then, relevant calculation to be made. What apply the cost model or revaluation model for the subsequent measure of PPE items. Presentation of financial statements disclose a basic of recognition and presentation of PPE items. IFCO-FR establish internal controls over the assessment of the probability and reliability of future economic benefits and cost of PPE items. Then audit procedure as per auditing standard of auditing. Verify the recognition and criteria and measurement based on the PPE items of the inspection. Confirm the vouching, analysis and procedures. Para 8. So, para 8 accounting policy. Measure the cost of the item of PPE as a cash price equivalent to the recognized date. If payment is referred beyond the normal credit period, measure the cost of the present value of all the future payments. Then what to relevant data to be captured? What relevant data to capture? Identify the cash price equivalent to the present value referred to the payment method for PPE items. Then relevant calculation to be made. Calculate the present value of the deferred payments using the appropriate discount rate. Then presentation of financial statement. And disclose the cash price equivalent to the present value of deferred payments for the PPE items. Then IFCO-FR. What establish an internal control over the identifying classifying the cash price equivalent to the present value of deferred payments for PPE items. Then audit procedures and as per the standard of auditing. Verify the cash price equivalent and present value of deferred payments for PPE items for the inspection, confirmation, vouching, analysis, and procedures, etc. Para 9. Para 9 what says? So as per the accounting standards, accounting policy, what para 9 says? Include in the cost of the item of PPE any cost directly attributed to bringing the asset to the location, condition necessary to be capable of operating in the manner intended to the management. Exclude any other costs that are not attributable to the bringing the asset to the location. Then what are to be relevant data to be captured? What are relevant data? Identify the directly attributable costs and non-attributable cost PPE. Then what relevant calculation to be made? Allocate the directly attributable cost to the PPE items based on the rational consistent basis. Exclude any non-attributable cost from the PPE. Then what presentation of financial statement that disclose direct attributable cost and non-attributable cost to the PPE items. IFCO-FR establish internal control over the identification and allocation of directly attributable costs and non-attributable costs of PPE. Auditing procedure as standard of auditing. Verify the direct attributable costs and non-attributable costs of the PPE items by inspection, confirmation, vouching, analysis and procedure. Para 10. What accounting policy to be followed? Accounting policy to be followed include the cost of item of PPE, any borrowing costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition cost, construction, production, qualifying asset, as per the cost of the asset accordance with the NDAs 23 borrowing cost and qualifying asset to be asset that is necessary to be taken to substantial period of time to get ready for the intended use. Then what is relevant data to be captured? Identify the borrowing cost and qualifying asset of PPE. Relevant calculation to be made. Allocate the borrowing cost to the qualifying asset and based on the rational consistent basis. Presentation of financial statement. Disclose the borrowing cost and qualifying items of PPE, COFR, IF, COFR. Establish internal control over the identification, allocation of borrowing costs, and qualifying asset for the PPE items. Auditing of procedures for auditing procedure as per standard of auditing. Verify the borrowing costs and valuation qualification of asset for the PPE items by inspection, confirmation, vouching analysis procedure. Para 11. Accounting policy. What accounting policy to be take? Exclude from cost of the item of PPE of any trade discount and rebates. Proper what to be relevant data to be captured. Point 11. Identify the trade discount and rebate for PPE. Relevant calculation. Deduct the trade discount and rebate for the cost of PPE. Disclosure in financial statement. Disclose the trade discount and rebates for the PPE, FR, CO, FR, and the EC, what is IF, FR. Point 11. Establish the internal control over the identifying and deduction of the trade discounts and rebates of PPE. Then audit procedure. Verify the trade discounts, rebates of PPE items, and inspection, confirmation, vouching, analysis, and procedures. Point 15. Relevant accounting standard. Recognize the cost of self-constructed asset as per the cost of PPE. Data to be acquired. Identify the cost self-construction asset and their cost of components. Relevant to be disclosed. Relevant computation to be apply the same principle as acquisition of asset. Relevant disclosure of in the financial statement disclose the self-constructed asset and its cost. IFCOFR and the establishing internal control and identifying measurement of the constructed asset. Audit of this accounting policy. Verify the self-constructed asset and the cost by inspection, confirmation, voucher, analytic procedure. Para 31. Auditing standards. Review the residual value, useful life, and depreciation method of the asset at least of each financial year end, and expectation differ from the previous estimate. Account of the change in the accounting estimate in accordance with NDAC accounting policy, change in the accounting estimate, and error. What accounting method to be data to be acquired. Identify the residual value, identify the useful life, identify the depreciation method of PP item. Relevant computation to be made. Assess whether if any of the indicates change in the exception from the relevant previous year. Disclosure of a proper disclosure in the financial statement. Adjust the depreciation charge according to and disclose the nature of effective change in estimate. IFCOFR establish the internal control over the review, adjustment, and residual value, useful life, and depreciation method of EPE. Auditing procedures to be able to verify the residual value, verify the useful life, and verify the depreciation method of PPE, and by inspection, by confirmation, by vouching analysis, and procedures, etc. Para 41. Accounting standard. Recognize the cost of replacing part of an item of PPE as per the asset if the probable the future economic benefit embodied within the part of flow of an entity and the cost of the item can be measured reliably. Decentralizing and carrying amount of replaced part. Data to be acquired. Identify the replacement parts and identify the cost of the PPE items. Computation to be made. Assessing the probability and the reliability of future economic benefits and cost of replacement part. Then what? The exclusion class statement allocate the cost and replacement part of PPE items and remove the carrying amount of replaced part, disclose the replacement parts and the cost of PPE. Then in turn, what should be done? IEFCO, IR establish an internal control over the recognition and measurement of replacement of parts of PPE items. Then auditing procedure for this condition that verify the replacement part and the cost of the PPE items by inspection, confirmation, vouching analysis and procedures. Paragraph 51. A derecognition accounting standard derecognition of item of a PPE on a disposal of one when the no future economic benefits are expected from its use and disposal. Gain or loss arising from the derecognition, including profit and loss when the items are derecognized. Then what? Data to be acquired for finding and auditing standards. Identify the retired PPE items and the change carrying amount. Then identify the calculation, calculate the gain and loss and derecognition, the difference between the net disposal procedure and the carrying amount. Disclosure in the financial reporting, recognize the gain or loss and recognizing in profit and loss, disclose the purpose of the retiring PPE items and then gain and loss in the decentralized. Then we want to do IFCOFR, establish internal control over identification, calculation of gain and loss of a derecognized PPE. Auditing procedures verify the disposal of retired PPE items and the gain or loss on the retirement by inspection, confirmation, vouching, analysis procedure. Control consideration on objective of auditing digitally. Emerging technology can bring great benefit, but they can also come with a varied set of substantial risk. Strength of auditing professional is an assessment of risk and control. As they address the challenges of addressing a technology risk, audit can also should focus on the following control. Auditors should share a holistic understanding of change in the industry and information technology, holistic understanding in the industry, holistic understanding of change in the information technology environment to effectively evaluate the management process of initiating, process and recording transaction and designing the appropriate auditing procedure. Auditing is appropriate should consider risk resulting from the implement of new technology and how this risk differ from those arise from the more technology or legacy system. Auditor should consider whether the digital upskilling and digital specialization necessary for determining the impact of new technology and assess the risk. Is the risk of assessment and understanding the design, implementation, operating effectiveness of control. Example, cybersecurity control expert, IT specialization team. Some of the aspect of the technology risk of the auditor should test the appropriate controls and relying on the digital system. Reliance on the systems and programs that is inaccurate processing data and inaccurate data on both unauthorized access to data that might result in destruction of data or inappropriate changes to data, including recording of unauthorized non-existing transaction and inaccurate recording of transaction. The specific risk might arise multiple user access and common database. The possibility of information technology person gaining access privilege beyond the necessary to perform their assessment duties, thereby leading to insufficient segregation of duties, unauthorized erroneous changes to the data in master file, unauthorized changes in the system and programs, failure to make a necessary to appropriate changes to system and program, inappropriate manual intervention, potential loss of data, inability to access the data required. A risk introduced when there is a third party from service providers and cybersecurity risk. Key steps for auditors to change in technology environment. As an auditor, obtain understanding of the impact of technology on the company business, a system of internal control and the financial reporting. Some important reminders, including the following: maintain sufficient professional skepticism, then reviewing the management risk assessment of a new system, understand the direct and indirect effect of a new technology, and determine how to use entities impact of auditors overall risk assessment.